Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Unfortunately, no Frankie Candles guest host on ATB tonight. Where's my ATB crew at? Let me know in the chat. How did you guys like having DZ back? I know a lot of people missed him. And shout out to the JPEG Junkies. Guys, don't forget the Frankie Candles live stream is now powered by KuCoin officially. And I'm going to bring up something right before we jump into the charts and bring out Crypto Lifer. I just want to go over a couple of things and let you guys know about some cool stuff that KuCoin has going on. But, guys, again, like I just said, we have a very, very, very special episode. You see the AirPod in my ear. You know what that means. We have a special guest, and again, that is going to be Crypto Lifer. I was just talking to him off camera, and I was just saying, you know, one of my most commented on collabs, people were absolutely loving the last collab that we did. You know, people just saying that, because we did get into a little bit of life stuff. You know, we were Lifer brought his sauce. He was spitting the sauce on the charts. I gave a little bit of sauce, but then we kind of just kicked it and we're talking life, and no pun intended. But, you know, a lot of people were just saying they found value and they just enjoyed hearing the conversation. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was days later. We were getting messages like, hey, man, I just saw that collab with Lifer. Favorite stream I've ever seen. So highly requested. Lifer is back, and we are going to bring him up in just a second. But before we jump into it, guys, I do want to just jump over and say what is going on to chat. Let's see who we got in here tonight. Guys, we got Anthony Soprano. We got Tony Soprano in the house. Show him some respect, guys. We want to stay on Tony Soprano's good side. Speaking of respect, guys, we got D Godfather in the chat. Show him some respect. Probably even want to be on the Godfather's better side than Tony. But Leroy Jenkins, what's going on? Thank you for being back here. Bufo on the beat says, Frankie, are you wearing black because you've been killing it? Speaking of what I'm wearing, guys, I do just want to point this out. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Crypto Billy came down to the studio to say what's up and just kind of visit and, just say hi. Super happy. That was super cool that he came by to hang out, came by with Ian. You guys know Ian. If you know, you know. But yeah, he came by to check out the studio and to drop off a special package. And guys, the special package, check this out real quick. Check this out. Frankie Candles University t-shirt that was made by Crypto Billy. It's absolutely insane. CandleMafia on the sleeve. I think this is my new favorite shirt, guys. That CandleMafia on the sleeve is the perfect touch. Super cool. It's got I know it's hard to see, but it's got Frankie Candles. It's got CandleMafia. It's got Hit Network on there. We even got some Bitcoin and XRP symbols, I believe. Absolutely insane. It's got a bing bong on there. It says Go FYP or Find Your People. There you go. Bing bong. Amazing. Absolutely love it. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you so much for coming by the studio, man. I do appreciate it. And he did bring some other T-shirts that you guys might be, you might like to see, but I can only wear one shirt, right? But guys, with that being said, I don't want to spend too much time on chat. I don't want to leave Lifer waiting too long in the bullpen here. But let me know how my audio is. I just want to make sure it's not too loud or not too quiet. I did just adjust it a little bit. But again, Blockchain Brawler, unforgettable name. Shout out to Amber Coleman for the super chat. Amber Coleman says Cactus Moss Water and lemon water ready. Let's go. I bet you Lifer's got his lemon water. I got the Cactus Moss Water here. Let's go. You know, that could make for some serious sauce. Shout out to Lane Hughes. Is Lifer coming? Lifer is here. We're about to release him into the CandleMafia to spit that savage sauce, guys. But love learning what is going on. Tony D says KuCoin. Shout out to KuCoin, the official sponsor. And before we jump into the charts, guys, again, I do just want to let you guys know that KuCoin is for the next week. Let me see if I can pull it up here. For the next week, guys, KuCoin will be offering a black screen, guys, a black screen. Sorry about that. Give me a second to reconnect my screen here. New studio, new technical hiccups. But the key here is once we fix these hiccups, no one will touch them. So it'll be fixed forever, essentially. But here we go. So anyway, here we go. KuCoin, guys. KuCoin is offering 0 trading fees for Bitcoin and ETH for the next 7 days. If you guys want to sign up for KuCoin, you could click the link down in the description, and you will help support the channel. But KuCoin has been, you guys know, KuCoin has been my favorite exchange for quite some time here, and we were lucky enough to get my favorite exchange to sponsor the channel, which is super cool. But guys, 0 fees. You could come onto their main website. They do, this will pop up in, pop up pretty big. You could come here and, see some during this event, fee discounts, affiliate rebates, or other specials will not be applicable. But I think there was something cool in here about trading bots. Trading bot users who have obtained 100% free rebate vouchers can create grid bot strategies with 0 fees, claim a total of 1 million USDT worth of free rebate vouchers. So super cool stuff going on here, guys. It's for their 5th anniversary, which is pretty crazy. Cool to see them sticking around for this long, especially in a world, the world that we live in right now. So shout out to KuCoin for the 5-year anniversary, and shout out for giving the KuCoin users those 0 fees for trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, guys, it is only going to be until October 19th. And if you want to sign up for that, you can go ahead and click the link. You could click the link. You could click the link in the description down below. But guys, without further ado, I do not want to keep him waiting any longer because I know he's coming jam-packed full of the sauce, not only on the charts, but in life. Guys, it is the one and only Crypto Lifer. What is going on, Lifer?
What's going on, man? How you been? How's your day going? How you feeling? Thank you so much for having me, Frankie. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for your consistency. I love KuCoin, man. Been rocking KuCoin since 2017. I bought KuCoin shares at $1.
Let's go.
So that's how much I love them, man. I did sell them at 8.17, but maybe I'll get back maybe I'll get back one day.
I love KuCoin, it. Man. Yeah, listen, man. You know what it is? It's like every time I talk to somebody and they're like, oh, I want this altcoin. I can't find the altcoin. There's one thing I love about them is they have over 600 altcoins. So it's just like, if you want to get into some of those low caps, a lot of them are available on KuCoin. That's kind of what drew me to them first. But they just have so many features. They have the bots, they have the lending, the staking. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. I was only Binance, right? And then I would trade KuCoin and Binance. And then when Binance, kind of ousted US customers completely, right, in a way where it's like almost impossible. You could trade BolsaDex, which is like this Latin America cloud, which I use, which we want to trade Binance coins, which is great. So you can access some Binance coins through BolsaDex. But I went exclusively. Me and my trading group, 95% KuCoin. If I put out an update, if I put out a coin, KuCoin. Like, what did we hit today? XDB for gains, KuCoin. Like yesterday, KuCoin. Antimatter, KuCoin. Like 70%, 80%, KuCoin. You know, I'm getting into Mex Global. I've liked their ETFs, and they do have they're kind of like, they're the closest thing, the next best thing, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't paid to say this. I mean, I am an affiliate, but I really, that's how much I love KuCoin. Like, it just makes me feel good to talk about it. I want to, become a KuCoin millionaire should be everyone's goal.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And you know what it is? It's like, on YouTube, you got to be careful. People think, he's just getting paid for this. But the truth is, I know a lot of people in my chat have been here for quite some time. I've been a KuCoin fanatic before they were ever a sponsor of the channel. It's just genuinely one of my favorite, Coinbase, especially depending on where you live in America, Coinbase can be pretty limited as far as
what I tell
altcoins.
Everyone, everything exists in all realities, right? And so there is reality where there's a guy who actually likes the product and just happens to get affiliated with it. You know what I mean? Like, that actually happens, everybody. Like, there's not everyone is a shill. Some people just actually use a product they really like, then they become somewhat known, and then that product reaches out, and there's a beautiful relationship that is born. And that's with Frankie and KuCoin, that's with me and KuCoin. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Lifer, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, I'm sure you heard while you were in the bullpen there that I was getting comments. The last
I thought
time
you had a bull waiting. I was going to get on the bull, like literally.
We just cut to your camera. You're on a mechanical bull. But I really do appreciate you coming back on, man. Like I said, I mean, it was days later where I was getting messages on Discord and in the comments just like, Frankie, I just saw your collab with Lifer. It was one of the most, some people were literally saying, I'm not just saying this, saying it changed their life, because obviously we were talking about a lot of life stuff too, not just the charts, but a lot of people found it very valuable. So super excited and appreciative that you were able to come back on. And yeah, I figure, we just want to talk about, what your thoughts are on the market. Obviously, we do have the CPI numbers coming out tomorrow, which everybody is expecting a lot of volatility. I know, a lot of people are mixed on the charts. A lot of people are neutral on the charts, thinking that tomorrow will just be the determining factor. Are we going up? Are we going down? And the Mafia wants to know, what are you seeing on the charts?
Well, yeah, I mean, even today, what a flat day, right? You could tell today felt like a Friday. Right? It felt like a Friday for a Wednesday. I told everyone it might as well be Friday. It had the same liquidity as a Friday afternoon. And actually, sometimes Friday afternoon has more movement. I got some mixed signals in the market. For the people that want to trade like right now, you got your 4-hour time frame. And, what I love about it is it's all about support and resistance. You know that too. We can market cipher. We can all use 100 different indicators and things that we use. But at the end of the day, right, the VRVP, the point of control, and how many, honestly, take all your indicators away. Recently, the VRVP has been golden. Like, it gets above the POC, ride it to the next node. It gets below, right? And it's literally just been doing this. Like, you could just ride these movements in between these spaces here. It's like that was a short because there was a node that got lost to the POC. It just keeps flying through these two areas from up to this node, down to this node, and you can see it. It's been an interesting way to trade. So swing trading Bitcoin, actually, to me, has been like a little, I'm not going to say easy, but it's been more predictable in this range for the last few weeks. It's not fun. You don't get as much percentages. But so I'm looking at this funny little ascending triangle here, right? This is what I'm seeing. What I didn't like is I wanted the 4-hour to get like somewhere up here. I study how the stochastics move. And so the stochastics are like, each time they go up and down, you expect a certain amount of movement. And you compare it to the last bit of movement. And it's a momentum indicator. So when we're low, and we get low on the 4-hour, I'm like, awesome. Like, here we can get a nice push. And when the 4-hour starts to kind of curve and get above the dotted line and I don't get above the previous highs, I'm getting antsy because now I'm like, well, I don't have much more room here. Like, it could double bottom. And like in that movement, I got to get all the way up here now. And somehow, some way, the stochastic, and it's already telling me that you're lacking momentum, but I didn't make it above a previous high. So that tells me that there's the lack of bullish momentum, because we should have gotten a bigger move there, in my humble opinion. We at least should have gotten somewhere up into this area, but we didn't. Yeah. So that lets me, but I've also seen smaller time frames throw what I call Hail Marys. I call it the 7-minute Hail Mary. Like, out of nowhere, you'll see the 15-minute pin. The 1-hour will be pinned. Like, all your traditional indicators say overbought, but the 7 minutes in a little flag. And lately I use Bookmap and I see liquidity at the top, and somehow they just throw this $600-700 candle, and the next, it takes an hour or whatever, and they liquidate everyone that thought they had it. But traditionally, I mean, this is a double top. Look, you can't get above 19,200. It's an issue. This point of control, I keep saying we have to hold it. I've been saying this for weeks now. Every time we go below it, I'm like, God damn it. Every time we get above it, I'm ready to long. I will admit right now I'm in a long. you know, and I'll explain why I'm in a long right now. And it's weird for me, honestly, because I'm not getting the normal indicators that tell me to get into a long. What I'm doing is I'm playing a bigger idea with a deeper stop loss, because I can't really the intermediaries aren't giving me as much as an edge as I used to. Like right now, the 1 hour says it's going to dump. Like that's for my indications. Can't get above a resistance. That's an M pattern. So we're going to go. However, like, do we just go tonight and lackluster? Like we could wake up tomorrow morning with this, right? Just completely flat again all night long. Everyone waiting for the CPI data. And then again, what's going to be beautiful is what I love about CPI data is this. Everyone waits and they're not sure what's going to happen. And lo and behold, what does price action do? It makes a bilateral pattern. Like, it's so funny to me, but like every time we're about to do something, it's in a symmetrical triangle or an ascending, which we both know by the book, right? Or 50-50 patterns. They could go either way. Ascending likes to be bullish, right? If you're in a bullish momentum, you know, it can get like bullish feels, but we both know just traditionally this pattern is going to either break the length of the back end here to the upside, right? Or to the downside. So like we're either coming up here somewhere to the 19,005 area, or we're going to break back down, you know? And what I look at it here is I see this bigger channel we're in, right? This is the falling wedge, up, down, up, down. And so, you know, we're coming here. Like this is just, honestly, price action has been doing like almost everything. I put my 2 scenarios out, and when it does one of the 2, it's been almost doing everything I've been predicting. So like, I'd be super surprised if we can't get it. If we lose this POC, you're going to see somewhat of a bearish retest on the 5 minute, maybe the 1 minute, right? And then you're going to see a dump down here on the 7 or the 15. And then we're going to have to find an inverted head and shoulder or some type of double bottom, or we're going to make another flag and the flag's going to continue. You know, I've just been tracking Bitcoin so much lately and just kind of stalking it. So my thing is this: we stay in this pattern and there's minutia here. I can't really, normally I can give you a bit of more of an edge. I'm saying, I'm not sure. Like we're going back and forth. I don't like what the 4 hour is. But then I zoom out, right? And this is what gets me. So I have this zoom out chart for you guys that I was building while I was in the bullpen, getting my arm ready, you know. But I saw this and I said, you know, I'm a huge divergence trader, and I pulled out a hidden bullish out of the back of my pants when everyone was telling us we were going down here. And you know, I didn't have any YouTubers to watch. Like eventually, there was no YouTuber really I trusted at that point. Everyone was like, oh, we're going, and I saw a hidden bullish here. Look on the weekly chart, and you know, all I had was my mentors and my teachers, and I studied my divergences, and I said, man, that tells me that 90% of the time we should make a high higher than the high that's inside of the divergence. Like, and look, I mean, every time I trust hidden bullish, it occurs. So watch this, Frankie. I'm going to give you some goosebumps. Tell me what you think of this. So look at the weekly, right? And see how, look at this section here for a second and isolate this in your mind and picture it, right? And you're like, okay, right? And you got the MACD turning on you. You got the low stochastic. Those all coincide, right? So like, not only do you have the hidden bullish, but you got the indicators that you know are bottom indicators, and they coincide with the idea that that's probably not going to go much lower, right? I pulled a fib here too, and eerily, look, if you use this, if you use that impulse, it was in the golden pocket, which I found really eerily creepy. Like I saw that so weird, right? But so I thought
like
that
you
was
said, sometimes it gives you goosebumps.
Yo, it gives you goosebumps. Like you can't. But look, check this out. So if I fast forward to the future now, and I go to the monthly chart, which like not many people are looking at, and I do the same type of thing, right? I go, here's my swing low to my swing low, and I have hidden bullish divergence again, and it looks just like that weekly chart, which tells me, fine, we may go. And the sad thing is, hidden bullish divergence we could go all the way to 13, 12, 11, and it still technically would be hidden because we would have an uptrend, and this would be a downtrend. But you usually, I mean, like how much, you know? So it's eerily starting to complete this feel for me that we're somewhere near a bottom. I bought a whole Bitcoin 2 days ago. I did. I bought at like 19,200. I finally pulled the trigger. Normally I DCA, honestly, but I have a certain amount that I've allocated, like around, you know, whatever, a certain amount of money. And I said, I'm going to use a third of it now, and I'll use the other third if we go to 10K, 12K. I still have orders laddered in. And the last thing I want to show you that has me just wondering what's going on here that's very, very interesting is I've scanned this whole chart. This is Bitcoin's life cycle. I've scanned it through and through for bullish divergence on almost every time frame. I teach my students. We look for them the 15. Like I even teach them to go back in time and look and scan it. So I've kind of like used and abused this chart. I've looked at everything I can, and you never see weekly divergence. Never. Like even here where we had this, there really wasn't weekly divergence here at this time. I looked for it. The closest place I could find it here was, look, there was a little bit of hidden here. See how this swings up? But this kind of swings flat or not. That's a little bit of hidden weekly divergence, right? And then here at our bottom, it was like a tiny flat zone, and this is like a nice little uptrend. So like someone, and you have to be like kind of an expert who like dissects it and does it every day, and you're like, yep, there's like
Can
a
smell the
0.5%
divergences.
divergence right there, like so like I've scanned it and it's a substantial indicator when you see it on a big time frame. And so lo and behold, we have like I don't know if you brought it up. Maybe has market cipher seen a green dot? I don't know, but I mean that swing down to swing down, that swing up to swing up, that's bullish divergence on the weekly chart. Like, and I know we have high stochastics. I know not everything's perfect, and I know but to me, if I don't long that, I'm a fool. Like so. Too many times in my life, I haven't listened to the tradition now I've been listening to it for 7 years. So if I don't long this, I'm a complete fool. So I'd rather have everyone else laugh at me. A lot of people think I'm a fool. They watch me buy that Bitcoin. They think I'm a complete clown. I'm telling you right now. But you want if you're buying at the right time, you should be looked at like a complete idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone should laugh at you. Everyone should be like, oh, he's buying a Bitcoin now. What a dumb. It's going to 10K. He doesn't know that, And then when I went to the daily, because I know I'm long-winded here, but when I go to the daily here, swing down to swing down and swing up to swing up here, that's also bullish divergence if I pull away the weekly one. And like, man, like, I don't know, like you don't see it on the daily as strong either. So it's very interesting to me. I'm seeing bullish divergence on two very big substantial time frames. They're screaming that 18,250, 350 area is like the bottom, for the local low. Whether we go all the way up to 30K and crash back down, I get it, but it's telling me that there's a reversal coming of some type, and then we have this falling wedge too. And then we have this falling wedge in here. And I just, again, no one has a crystal ball. I can't guarantee anything, but, I'm going for the bigger indicators that I see. And you know what? The masses, not many people are whipping up divergence on the weekly chart. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority there. So, yeah, I think I'm doing something that not everyone's doing, and usually that does tend to pay out. So we'll go from there,
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. You're just saying, people are laughing at you for buying a Bitcoin. That's probably a good sign. But here's the thing, right? People see
what do you
that,
think?
right?
What do you think about Bitcoin buy? Should I have DCA'd? And be honest, you hit it to
No,
me hard, man. Should I wait it? Let me know. I want to know what you feel. I really want to know.
This is basically how I'm handling it. I love that you said that people, again, I take people, saying like it's not a good idea. I take that as a pretty good sign. And here's the other thing. This is what I've personally been doing, and like what I suggest. I guess I don't suggest. It's not financial advice, but what I'm doing really is. Let's say you bought that Bitcoin at below 20K, right? And we drop down to 14K. What I usually do is I'll zoom the chart all the way out, and then I show people on the weekly chart the difference between 19K and 14K. And then you mark out, say, if we go to 100K next cycle, you mark that out on the chart too. And then I look at them and I say, are you going to care if you got in here or here? When you're all the way up there? Probably not. And no, I've been DCAing in for a little bit now. And my thought is, listen, I've been DCAing in. If we get another drop down, I'm going to continue DCAing in. If we get a big dump, maybe I drop a little bit more in. But at this point, like you said, seeing weekly bullish divergence, we've been looking at very, very similar stuff. It doesn't happen often. And listen, it's like you said, you can't guarantee anything. No one has a crystal ball. But you pointed out, everybody watching, one thing that you could really take away from that is that you didn't just look at one thing. You weren't like, oh, the weekly looks pretty good. You were looking at the divergence. You were looking at the falling wedges, not only the big one, but the one inside of it. There's a lot of things. That's kind of how I, approach the charts too, right? I'll find multiple things, and I build a bullish evidence basket and a bearish evidence basket, and it just kind of helps you pick that direction, and then you take the more probable case. Could we long that weekly bullish divergence and get wrecked? Potentially, but if you're using a stop loss or, good risk management, you should be fine. And again, I agree with you. Listen, weekly bullish divergence, it's scary to buy down there, right? And people always said, if Bitcoin ever goes below 20K, I'm going to mortgage my house. And then you get down there and the emotion kicks in and people think it's going to go lower. At some point, you have to buy. I would rather be in the position where I'm DCAing in now, below 20K and even a little bit above 20K at times. I'd rather be in case we don't make that lower low rather than just hold off all my money and wait for that lower low and then it never comes and then you wind up buying on the way up. I always say this, it gives me PTSD when people say I'm waiting for the lower lows. That gives me PTSD of people being like, I'm not selling until we hit 100K. And I'm like, there's no guarantee about that, right? Like, so I see very similar things. And like you just said, me personally, in the short term, I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing for the most part. But I've just been telling people if we have not bottomed out at 17.6, we got to be close. Anything short of a multi-year, another Great Depression, we got to be close if we have not already bottomed. So we're definitely looking at some real similar stuff. So
I like two things you just said that were beautiful. And you actually gave me an epiphany, like something and that's why I love these interactions. You sparked something in my brain that I never thought I was going to say, but I know that the audience is going to love it and it's going to be a gem. You said I love it. I've seen this before. We went to 38, Tone Vase. Remember we were going to 1400. It's like they're never happy. You know what I'm saying? It's never low enough. Like someone's like, I'm going to wait for 1,000. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, it's like the number always gets lower because the person wants to better themselves because they're afraid to pull the trigger, I'll tell you what. Me putting my guts on the line here and buying at this price is only making it easier for me to sell before I get to the 100K. Like everyone's telling me, later on when I'm at 60, 70, I'm like, you know what? It's time to take my profits. Like at least I'm not listening to the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people say, everyone says the bottom's in. I disagree. I think the masses, everyone I talk to, and this is the next question that I wanted to bring to you. Everyone I talk to, but Bitcoin's never been through a recession yet. I'm like such a math guy, and I stick to the cycle of Bitcoin. And I see the pi cycle chart, and I see where Bitcoin at. And honestly, like, I don't care. I know we're correlated to the S&P, and I know we're, right now S&P dumps, we bump. But one day, everyone's going to realize they're going to want to go get out of the S&P and run into Bitcoin because they're going to realize Bitcoin is a boat that travels with you. Like Bitcoin can go with you. These stocks can't go with you. Like Bitcoin's going to evolve with digital money. Digital can go, in so many ways of the word, Bitcoin can go with you. One thing I want to show is the DXY. I mean, I looked at it on the monthly just like I do Bitcoin, and it is beat. Like, you tell me to buy a coin, that monthly is the highest it's ever been. Like, that is a straight line on the monthly chart. Look at it. Like, that's if you were in an altcoin and you were like, Sam, man, I'm riding this to the moon, I'd be like, Frankie, man, please sell, Frankie. Take some money, Frankie, please. It's time. It's like, oh man. So the 2-week chart as well, spent, beat to the ground. The weekly chart spent. There's bearish divergence on the weekly chart. Like, look, the only other asset I saw that did this, was Bitcoin on the weekly, right? Look. This looks exactly like Bitcoin right here. Look at it. It has the same divergence. Swing up to swing up here, right on the daily, swinging down, right? And bang, I mean, that's the dollar index. It's the same thing. That's bearish divergence on a weekly chart. Like, if these things don't play out, like I'm gonna call it as a TA analyst. Like, I'm just gonna bag it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bag it up. I'm gonna put my stuff in my bag. I'm gonna go away because, like, this stuff plays out 70% traditionally all across the board, even more. Divergence is almost like a 90% golden indicator. Like, it's only a matter of time till it gets you. Like, you can only keep cheating it till it gets you. So, that's what confuses me about this whole scenario. So I wanted to ask you, how convinced are you or influenced by the S&P? How much do you think traditional markets can drag us? Am I drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much in the Bitcoin cycle? Should we be more influenced by the world? I believe we can somehow shrug it off, and somehow Bitcoin can kind of just do its own thing due to its because people know the halving's coming now. Halving's less than 2 years. You have to remember, the real fiends are already like, I bought that Bitcoin. I'm already sniffing the halving. I already know there's a bunch of other guys that want to buy a Bitcoin that got the money. I don't know if 19K is going to be around that long. Like, I started getting the other way. I'd rather have one Bitcoin and not need it than need one Bitcoin and not have it. Mic drop.
Somebody put that on a T-shirt. I love that. And I'll say, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I love that you just showed that on the DXY because The things we've really been looking at are the bullish divergences forming on the higher time frames for Bitcoin, and also on the S&P, we do have a bullish divergence on the weekly. When looking at Market Cipher B, we do have the bullish divergence. The money flow does look pretty ugly, but there's bullish divergence there as well. And then you go to the DXY, and you see all those bear divs. We've been looking at those as well, and it's like, this is screaming up, this is screaming down. Usually when this goes down, these go up. Like, so I would have to, going back to kind of the cycles, right? Bitcoin's history has repeated itself beautifully. And maybe it's not day for day or percentage for percentage, but when you look at those longer term timeframes, you compare cycles. I mean, there's no doubt that there is a cycle to this. Obviously, with the halving sparking that supply shock and creating these bull runs. So here's what I'll say: I don't want to be on the team of, I was waiting for it to be like every cycle so far. There's been team. This time's different. And they've gotten wrecked every single time. Now, I don't like to go too far on the other end and say there's absolutely zero chance that we can see something different.
Well, we got to be open-minded, right? We got to be limber,
right.
A little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Being that, Bitcoin has never been through a recession, or, I take that into account as well. But in my opinion, the things that really scare me are like the crazy political stuff that's going on right now. For me, Bitcoin is, again, if it has not bottomed, it's got to be close. It's got to be very close. And again, that's why I'm DCAing in now, because if I buy now and we go lower, I'll just buy more. I didn't take out my life savings and I'll dump it all in one day. I think that's what sometimes people think. But for me, it's really about, the people that this time's different people have.
I called Frankie. He gave me a loan for $19K.
Yeah, it's like the banks are calling.
Frankie, I just need to borrow $19,000. Give me back to you like 6 months.
yeah. Next bull run. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, the this time's different people have been around forever. They've gotten wrecked every single time. And again, I'm not saying that this time can't. I will say this: if there was a time for it to be different, I think all of the factors that are not actually crypto are lined up to give us something different. But that's not that I'm not really calling for something different. Listen, I think the thing is, if we drop down to that 12 to 14K level, if that's our last leg down, maybe it's a wick to 12K, whatever it is. People will be like, oh my God, see, this time's different. But then you measure it from the all-time high, and it's like, no, we were only 80%, about 70-something percent down, and now we've got that 84, 85%. So even if we do go that whole leg down, that 12 to 14K level, I think people are seeing as an apocalyptic level. But for me, if we got to 12 to 14K, I'd be like, okay, Bitcoin's doing what it does. So I love looking at the cycles. I've made a couple videos looking at the different cycles and comparing them. And I mean, there's no argument that they are, maybe they're not, maybe history didn't repeat, but it definitely rhymed. So yeah, I'm gonna have faith in the cycles. And listen, if we start breaking 10K, we start breaking 10K, getting into the single digit thousands, at that point, what's the state of the world at that point is my thought, right? Probably not going to be too worried about, buying Bitcoin rather than, oh God, the world is falling apart. So that's kind of where I stand on it. But yeah,
I think even if they if they go so hard to try to like my worry is they'll do everything they can to destroy Bitcoin, because it shows how weak they are and they don't want to look weak. So they'll try to make Bitcoin look weak. But I think if they do that, they'll make so many cracks and so many other armors of other financial parts of the world that, like, Istanbul, Turkey, all these other parts, Argentina, like, people just, I mean, they got nothing anyway. Like, Bitcoin really is all they have at this point. Like, on all these other, Argentina, they showed me the Argentinian peso. I put it on the map the other day. Oh my God. Like, that thing just, for the last 10 years, it is like, those people, they got nothing. I mean, you can't, like, how can you live on that? So they've been devastated. A guy in my trading group, he translates my videos into Spanish for his community in Argentina. Such a beautiful thing. And that's how I meet people from around the world. They teach me all about what's happening in their through my channel. I hear the voice of the world. You know, one of my virtual assistant lives in the Philippines. He just sent me a video when he went to buy his new computer. It was so touching. Like, you know, the little shop he went to, like how they built it for him, and just the little town that he lives in. And I mean, man, you change the world when you change your life. I just want everyone to know that you really do. And if you're doing it in a positive way, and you're true to yourself, man. Like when I saw him buy that computer, like it was awesome. Like it was just, and he's like, I can do so much more with this. Thank you so much, life, for like you changed my life. You know, I was like, I thought when I started trading, I never thought I was gonna get a video like that. You know, like that's man, you can't buy those moments. Like you can't buy those feelings.
No,
it really does. It really does.
In a weird way, I was actually talking to Crypto Billy, one of our mods that came to visit the studio. I was talking to him today, and I was saying, I was like, listen, man, like for me, it's like I almost selfishly like to help people because it makes me feel good. It's like, sure, you're helping people, but it's like selfishly, I'm doing it because I like the way it makes me feel. So it's like it's very interesting. But it's such a cool
class in psychology. We had a really good teacher. And it was facing history on ourselves. And I remember one week he said he passed around a card, like a blank card. And he said, everyone pick someone, you know, and write something and hand them a card in the class or something. Right. And so like, and he's like, how do you feel? And I was like, I felt pretty good. Like I just told John, like, you know, he was my good friend, like good luck, you know. And he said, you know, handing someone a birthday card is a selfish act. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, think about it. Like you put $20 in the card, you hand it to someone, or you give them a gift. Like, that feels good to give to someone else. You feel good about yourself. And I was like, and I learned early on at a young age that every time I gave to someone, it was, you know, I mean, again, eventually you fall in love with the smile they give you, but and maybe it's not a selfish act like, oh, for me every time, but you bring an energy to yourself that you carry with for the rest of your life. Right. And if you can get addicted to giving, oh my God, it's the greatest thing to get addicted to. And the more you give, this is the key to giving. Everyone want to understand that I'm fully understanding now. I used to have some money. You'd walk by, a bum in the street, and you'd have, let's just say you had a 5 and some couple ones, and you hand him the couple ones. But you had the 5, and you looked at it, and you were about to hand him the 5, but you were like, money's been tight recently. You know, like my boss didn't really give me a raise, and so you hand him the 3. But say you walk by, and you're like, and so my whole life I used to hand the 3, but then like later on I started handing the 5. And when I first handed the 5, I'd be like, Sam, what'd you do? You don't really have that. Like you kind of, and I'd say, don't worry about Sam. Like, you know, you have more than that guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even one of your friends has to buy you a sandwich today. Like you got friends with money. Like he's a bum on the street. Like and so I'd be like, all right, don't worry about it. And like, I kept getting over this little worry feeling every time I gave a little too much that I shouldn't have. Right. Or what I thought was it. And then I got more and more and more. And now it's like, I peel off that 5, I make it a 20 now. Like, and it's like, and every time you hand someone more, you're telling to the universe, hands down at that very moment, I'm powerful and more's coming my way. And you're making that, you're saying you believe it too, because you would not give it away unless you believed it was coming back. And it's the true commitment that you're powerful, that you know things are coming your way. Like, and it's like, but it's a repetition of process. And the more you do it, the more it starts to really like, and now some days like, the other day, like I put a big tip and my buddy actually took the tip back and like went around and he didn't know, like, and he's like, dude, I already tipped him and you gave another 20. And I said, dude, the guy cleans tables for his life. Like I got $150 in super chats this morning. I said, come on, man. Like he didn't, he's new in my life. He doesn't realize or whatever. And he was just looking out for me. I didn't mind. I didn't think it was rude, but I was like, man, I give a little more. And I'm telling you right now, I always get a little more by doing it. I said, you just stole my givings. Like I was going to get more from that,
Like, I
was like, put that back, but So I don't know. I wanted to go in how giving really, really has changed my life, and you get addicted to it. And the more you give, the more you receive, hands down. It's not cliche. It's not BS. It happens. It will happen to you. Watch it. It'll happen to you,
Yeah, absolutely. Speak it and act it into existence. I'm a big proponent of, the law of attraction, not as a magical thing that if I think it, it'll just magically appear. But listen, if you think, okay, there I go. Can you still hear? Okay, you guys can still hear me. I don't know why my camera went down. Yeah. Well, I'm going to fix the camera, but I will continue.
It's so weird. I was worried mine was going to go down because if I keep mine on all day, you know how they get hot? Like they freeze. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So like my camera will freeze if I keep it on all day. And like, I normally don't have a 5 o'clock show. So today I was like, damn it. Like I forgot to freaking turn my camera off since the stream today. So I'm sitting here thinking, any moment now, I'm gonna be a freaking stick figure. You know,
Yeah.
it was you. Like,
Well, so I just figured out what happened to my camera. I have a fan that blows on my camera because it gets really hot in the studio, and the fan was off, so my camera overheated. But it'll cool down in just a second. But I actually did just want
to think of all these things. You know, yeah.
it's crazy, man. It's like a running
easy.
list. It's crazy. It's like if you remember to do one thing, there's 40 other things that are
you know
waiting.
What? You have
to
a dynamic voice. Your voice is kind of like a visual. You know, there's so much going on with it. Like, I think you can pull us in with that dark screen. I think you can still keep us going. You know?
I'm actually still here, guys. But real quick, I did just want to shout out Steph Paris. They sent a super chat. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I think it's a guy. But shout out to Steph. I appreciate you. And they say, lifer in my super chat, Mafia Candle. Show I can't read. Lifer in my super Mafia Candle show. That's awesome. Frankie, I'm in Lifer's Discord group. Thank you guys for this stream. You are the best TA boys. Shout out to Steph Paris. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you're enjoying the collab and all of the value being brought here. But before I go ahead and come up with I want to ask one more question before we start to take some questions from the chat. First off, guys, smash that like button if you love Crypto Lifer. And also, we will be spinning the wheel of pain and pleasure. So if you like free NFTs, smash that like button also. But with that being said, Lifer, so I just actually have a question for you. And I know they call you Sammy Cup and Handy. Do you have a favorite pattern that you trade, or do you just take them as they come and kind of assess them individually, or do you have, like, you know, when you see cup and handles, is that your you do have a favorite pattern, I guess, is the simple question.
I mean, you're not supposed to label yourselves with these, like, you know, psychological terms, right? They try to put everyone in a room and give them a pill, right? I mean, but if anyone had some type of an OCD type of like behavior, and I guess I don't, and honestly, we say this OCD, but like, it's probably, I shouldn't even say that, because someone that really has OCD, like, right, like I'd be sitting here like putting this bottle top on like 7 times during the show, and you guys would be like, he's got problems, like, right, like, so like, I think I have OCD, but you know, I probably don't. Like, I've been around like 1 or 2 people that I think maybe really have it. So like, but I think I have some form of addictive repetition personality. Even how I do voices, like Marky Wahlberg, like, you know, I'm a cop, I'm a fireman. It's because I can remember how his voice pattern is. Like, it's all patterns to me, whether I do a voice, whether I look at math, whether I look at, so I tend to kind of gravitate towards the same patterns over and over again. So like, look, this is interesting. And what I also found was I started to see different TA in the same place. So I started realizing, oh, like, watch this. You have 2 different people, all right? Person A understands what an inverted head and shoulder is. So he finds this shoulder, he sees this as a head, and he plays this as an inverted head and shoulder, does he not? And he takes the neckline to the head, and he bangs this trade, just like he was taught, with the measured move and everything, right? Perfect. This guy's great, right? This guy's never been taught the cup and handle. He doesn't know it. But then this guy sees the cup and handle. All right. Same trade. But this guy sees a handle, a cup. He takes the length of the pole here, which is actually the length of the neck, right? Same situation kind of. And he hits the trade. So I started, and then now I see both. See, now I kind of like, I see the cup and handle in the inverted, and I make it. And I think that's why people love my show, because I get into create, like, and I remember when I first started doing these things, I was getting goosebumps because I didn't do these things till I had elevated my screening, my ability to look. And I'm like, now I'm so open-minded, I can see them both. Before I was never, that was even a skill in and of itself for my brain to possess the ability to see things at the same time and believe them both. See, when I first started trading, I could only see one thing and I could only believe that one thing. And if I saw something different, it would hurt me emotionally because I was so enthralled. No, it has to be the wedge that I found, Sam. Like, because I didn't have much to go on. So when I found something, I had to believe in it, and it had to be what I wanted, you know? But after you lose and win and see the shapes and see the manipulation and see the up and downs, and I flip my charts upside down all the time. So that's a head and shoulder dump to the downside. Time doesn't care where you're standing, up, down, left or right, fractals, mirrored. Frankie knows the more you jello with this, the more your mind bends, the more you're open. And then I understand Bruce Lee, and then I understand Kung Fu, and then I understand all the masters, because like anything you master, anything you put your life into 110%, the universe, the fabric of the universe is going to come through. So like whether you mastered football, whether you mastered anything, you can sit together with someone that's spent their whole time, and you're going to find similarities in it. I bet if I sat with someone that painted for hours, I'd be like, well, I chart for hours. Now, we're not exactly the same people, and I don't paint, but we'd find something about, isn't that crazy when you sat there for hours and you finally found a new color you never found you could learn, but it took you 7 years. Like you still get gems out of things that like I'm going to find something about trading in the next 6-7 months that I don't know. Frankie is too. Like there is, and I tell everyone there's more to be revealed in the chart. Like it'll take you as far as you want to take it. When it's almost it can be overwhelming at times to think how deep it can go, but it's as deep as the universe, you know? So yeah, I gravitate towards the cup and handle because I see it. And honestly, it tends to pay out pretty nicely. I actually called this cup and handle before it happened on October 4th. It's crazy. And lo and behold, this is like probably the craziest call of my whole life. If like I go to the my profile here, and that's what I love about TradingView, how you can like set something in stone. So like right here, trying to find it, the day I did this is nuts. Cup and handle, or here it is. Let's see. My screen went black too. Here we go. 69,000, October 4th. I put this out, right? And I'm sitting here, cup and handle, and I'm saying we're going to go to 69,000 on November 20th, right? And you play this, we went to 69,000 on November 8th or November 9th. Like I was 10 days shy. Like, I mean, that's probably like, you could say like lucky, right place at the right time. Who is this cup and handle guy? Like what the, but like, I still did it. Like I still did it. Like a month before I did, I called it and I was off 10 days. You can say whatever you want. I think it comes from doing it every day. You're going to get blessed. Like if you, whatever you play with, whatever you put your 100% into, you're going to get these little gems out of life, And so yes, long-winded answer again, but I see the cup and handle a lot, and you'll start to see what other patterns you gravitate towards more and more,
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I literally could not agree more. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I love having people like you on the channel, right? Because it is so fun, right? We actually had Tom Crown on, I think.
I love Tom. He's a good dude.
Yeah, Tom's the man. And the cool thing was, like, you are looking at a lot of the same things that we are all, right? We're all just looking at the charts, right? So we're all looking at the same information, but we all come to conclusions in different ways. And I think we might have talked about this last time. Some of the targets that you're looking at through measured moves, right? And that might be the same level that we're watching, but we're watching because it's a naked point of control, or it's a value area high, right? And it's just so interesting. And I think it speaks a lot, because I think a lot of people get very tribal about the way they trade, right? They're like, well, if you're not trading divergences, then you're trading wrong. You use Elliott wave
theory,
fool. That's wrong. Yeah. And it's just, we're all looking at the same stuff. To me, I like divergences. I like market cipher B. I do look at patterns, but someone might, some people are breakout traders, right? Some people only trade breakouts. Everyone's different. And to me, it's just what works for you. Like you said, you're really good at picking out those patterns, and that fits for you, right? So for anybody watching, I know it could be overwhelming to kind of, enter this world of TA and trading, and you're hearing about patterns and Elliott waves and divergences and all these different indicators and strategies and Lux Algo and RSI, and all this stuff could be really overwhelming. And I will just say this. I wish I knew this earlier when I started. You start to gravitate towards maybe one thing, one strategy or something. Find that strategy, whether you're looking at patterns or looking for divergences or whatever it might be. Don't be afraid to gravitate towards one thing. If you're not feeling the Elliott waves, like, it's okay. You can look at other things, and then, you can always teach yourself on the back end, try to understand it. But for me, like, Elliott waves, like, I don't really look at that very, very much. It doesn't really, it doesn't click with me as much as a lot of these other
I was
things.
in a trading group with Elliott wave traders, and this is my problem. Like, I don't use market cipher too much, but I know market cipher traders, and I get them. I watch you. You make sense to me. I actually had market cipher. I own it, The problem was I have it under remote cheap, and I changed my name. If you change your profile name, you'll lose access. So like I bought it for
what?
I paid $1,500 for it like a year or two ago, right? But I changed my profile name here. You can only do it once, and so once I did that, like I have it, right? But I'm locked out now. I only would use it to kind of reference I'm locked out, but you could see that I paid for it because I have the lock, like the whatever. I had the locks, but I'm not sharing my screen. But the thing is, then there's But then there's, so I believe in that science that I like what you guys are doing. I can see what it is, and there's no wrong or right reason. But I was in a trading group with Elliott Wave traders. The problem with this is I can identify a good market cipher trader online. Show me the guy who's spot on with the Elliott Waves. Like, just that's all I don't see it, man. Like, I was in a trade. There was 50 of them. There was 100 of us in a trading group, right? There was 50 of them, like, that were all Elliott, and they would, like, and I was just like, I would be like, hidden bullish divergence, like, sucker, like, I just be like, nah, my dude. Like, I was like, yo, my guy, like, because, like, no offense, but, like, certain things are simple. Like this is an M, right? And I'm shorting that M, right? Like, right. Let me show my screen. But, like, this is an M, and I'm shorting the M right here. Right here. M pattern.
Yep.
M built to the downside. Like, but the Elliott Wave trader didn't see the M, and he's sitting like, he's drawing like 17 things, and he's all like,
A, B, C, D,
and I'm like, yo, my man, that's an M, like that drops.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I realized they were, and again, someone's going to probably hate on me for doing this. Like, someone's like, I'm an Elliott Wave trader for life. Like, how dare you?
Well, hey,
But
if it
I
works
would
for you, then keep doing it. I mean,
just convince me that you're hitting it as consistent as my M pattern. Show me that you're falling. It hits as much as my cup and handle. Like, and probably it does. I would have to give it the time of day, and I'm probably never going to. That's the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was just around too many guys drawing 100 lines all over the place, and I eventually was like, yo, I realized the more people that got into Elliott Wave, I feel like the more lost they got. So, like, I tend to tell people, like, stay away from that for now. I think it works if you get deep. Then there's times where I actually do use it because, like, you'll see me do something, and I'll be like, well, here's wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? So, like, I get it. I see what's going on, but I only piece it once my other sauce is around it, and I only lightly touch on it. Like, again, what people don't realize is, like you said, you could use fib extensions, or you could just be, like, right now, if I just use support and resistance and I mark them, done, right? But then you can also be like, well, are we going higher or lower, right? And you can pull the fib down on it and see where the 618 could bring us, right? And you'll be surprised. Like, that coincides right with the previous support region. Like, some guys are hitting support or resistance. Some people are drawing fibs. They overlap. And they ended up being in the same areas anyway. And that's what you'll realize, too, that half the guys are doing the same stuff. So once you learn one, and then once you learn both, and then you'll be like, oh, wow, like, they're all doing both. And that's what's key to – that's why I like knowing market cipher and what I do. That's why I like I'll turn on your channel and I'll watch you for half an hour because I just – and I'll be like, oh, yeah, he is doing – there's the dot. Yeah, he is looking at money flow. Money flow scares me because it's accurate. Like, when you just said now, I didn't like the money flow, I was like, damn it. Like, because I don't use market cipher all the time, but I used it enough to know, like, man, like, if it's telling me we're extinguished and, like, it's like, where's the money going to come from? It kind of –
right.
A pretty good indicator,
Yeah, I love market cipher, and the somebody in chat said a show just for shilling. They think we're shilling market cipher. We're just talking about an indicator, guys. Okay.
I don't use market cipher at all. I don't trade with it. I use all my own indicators.
It's like, God forbid you like something.
I'm just being cool about it. Like, it's like I'm being real.
But, I think Elliott Waves. Blockchain backer's a big Elliott Wave guy. I think. I think it's good for predicting maybe longer term trends, trying to predict.
It's good for sitting back on a monthly chart and freaking with the spectacle and drawing.
Investigative.
Yeah. But it's
like
not,
investigative TA.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I totally agree. And again, for anybody watching, like, don't be afraid to gravitate towards something. If you're seeing these patterns and they stick out to you. Don't be afraid to go that way. For me, I really, the thing that made the big change for me when I first started trading was keeping it simple. I had every line, you'd open up my chart and it would look like a mess. And it's like, I was a beginner, right? So I'd open up my chart, there'd be a bazillion lines everywhere. I had a support line every dollar. And it's like, oh, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here, we touched here. And you quickly find out that too much information is useless information. So for me, I tend to I kind of went super far the other way. I try to keep it super, super, super simple. So, But yeah. So real quick, I do want to shout out Chris Ray. He says, one of the best episodes I've seen. The two of you vibe so well, and I'd love to see more of it. Great job. Shout out to Chris Ray. Well, we will be doing much more. I'm glad you're liking it.
Chris joined my group for a year, probably like 8 or 9 months ago. He let me into his life. We've had one-on-ones. I've taught him about my family. He's taught me about his family. It's like I get to know these people. They're like, I consider him a brother of mine, and then to see him bounce into your show and honestly watch his charts evolve and him get better and better, and to know that in the next bull run, he's just going to dominate and he's going to take money hand over fist, like, because he's going to know what he's doing, and he's going to have a plan. He's going to be situated. He's going to have a trading diary. He's going to know all his divergences. Like he'll be 2 years in the next halving. Imagine, 2.5 years in his education. I mean, that makes me proud. I know that people are going to get somewhere in life, with
Absolutely.
and it's them. They put in the effort, man. Shout out to you, Chris. I love you, brother. Thank you for coming on in, man. That's so nice.
Shout out to Chris. It is crazy, man. I always say, like, listen, I love winning my trades, but it's when people, I win a trade, it's whatever. All right, I made some money, cool. But when I get people messaging me in chat, like, oh my God, I saw your stream last night. You taught me about this. I traded, I made money. Or hey, I saw you call this on your stream last night. I did my own TA, my own due diligence, and I'm like, yes, you're doing your own TA too, and not just relying on me. And they're like, I made some money, and it's like. It's like nothing gives me goosebumps like that. It just shows that, like, we're able to actually make a difference for people, which is absolutely insane. And feel super blessed to be in that situation. But I do want to move over to some questions from the Candle Mafia and the Lifers. Do you call your community something? Are they the Lifers?
Lifer gang, yeah,
Lifer gang.
Yeah,
Lifers,
Lifer gang, yeah,
love it. So we do have some questions here. This one is from Cal's World. He says, Crypto Lifer, do you enter a trade when there's upcoming news like CPI, interest rate, unemployment, etc.? This is a great question because for me, I want to say, like, most of the time I do sit it out. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you think.
And I remember I answered this on ATP last week too. I like having an edge. I like a falling wedge that breaks up 68% of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's normally not CPI data, right? So in my lifetime, all the falling wedges that I've played have been when the market's just kind of doing its thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is an outlier to me. So any outlier that gets in the way of my edge, I remove myself from that situation. So if there's a risk that I can't control, I remove myself from that risk. So no, right now I'm in a trade. It's weird for me to be in. I normally would never be in one. It's the divergence strong divergence will suck me in any time. It's like the chick that I can never stop seeing. It's like I will always, it's my wife, like strong divergence will get me every time because it's just like I'm always it's going to be so hard to pull me away from strong divergence. So I am in a trade right now, and normally I never would be in one, and I'm not speculating on CPI data. I'm hoping it's going to make go from 1887, 18,700 back to 19. Like I'm expecting some crazy volatility, and I'm just hoping my stop loss doesn't get hit. Like I'm at 18.5. Like if we hit 18.5, I'm out. So we'll see. We'll see. And I'm not risking a lot, honestly, either. Like I'm not going in for 10,000 with I'm using a very little amount with a very small amount of exposure. So I just bought one Bitcoin yesterday. I DCA in these times, and then what I'm going to do is start trading BTC pairs. I'm going to take that one Bitcoin in the next 6 months and aim to try to turn it into 5 to 6 Bitcoin. That's the game. While everyone's focusing on CPI data and worried about economies and markets, I'm going to be sitting there squirreling away BTC pairs while no one's paying attention. So I like to be in sections of the market where no one else is focused on. That's when because like no one's going to watch me while I'm going to be like stealing Satoshis out the bank, right? Just like hand over fist, and everyone's going to be, what are we short along, whatever, So there's going to be I realize there's opportunity every day if you believe there is. So like we wake up tomorrow ready to short or long, and we watch our support and resistance, and we take the probability given to us. It's a high probability we can make some money tomorrow. But if we wake up saying the market sucks, I can only make money one way, and I don't want to learn how to short, and I don't want to, and that's another reason why trading groups like mine and Frankie's are great, because you'll learn how to short, you'll learn how to long. You got to learn how to take money out of the market both ways. Like you can't just only ride uptrends and only ride downtrends. You could turn this dump into your bull run. It could be in the 3S token bull run. So.
That's how I felt. I felt like I turned into a perma bear because, once you can short the market, it's like the bull run never goes away. It just switches directions. I mean, the moves are just as dramatic.
500% gains for Luna. People are like, people in my group grew my group went from 400 to 800, paying traders during the dumpage. When and honestly, I want to tell everyone that, like, I could have got it down on myself. I'm like, the market's going to dump. Everyone's going to leave my trading group. I'm going to get depressed. Like, I'm going to sit every day on my live stream. Oh, Nah. I took a deep breath and I said, Sam, you have an opportunity to find opportunity. And because I did that, more people gravitated towards me. And people like to gravitate towards you. And when people were less, because there was less energy out. All the other YouTubers, except for Frankie and other awesome, energetic people. But a lot of them fell off. Let's be honest. A lot of them weren't coming with the content. A lot of them weren't. And I was sitting there, Luna for 80%. Let's do this. And people were just like, oh my God. Like, and they realized that the Lifers was the place to be, you know, and just, man, it was, so we turned what most people would turn into a horrible bear market into a blessing, you know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, making lemonade out of lemons every time. And then you get better at doing that. You get better at never gravitating towards the negative space. You're just like, no, I can use any negative thing. I went to Vegas just this weekend, right? Or I went to Vegas on Wednesday night. I do my show. My internet sucks. I get 8 minutes through the show, and it keeps cutting me off. I tried 2 times, and I realized I'm not going to get through the show. And again, my OCD, that whole, like, I have to do my show every day. Like, and someone reached out to Sin City Crypto, the guys, right? They responded to me, gave me a phone number. It was 7:30 in the morning Vegas time. By 8:10, I was in their studio. They said I could do my show from there if I wanted to, and I could be on their show. They said they'd wake up the next morning for me, open the studio at 6:30 in the morning, and run the boards and all the equipment so I could do my show again the next day. Said if I even wanted to do it Saturday night, they would probably open it up and put me back in there again. Like, they're like, our studio is your studio. And then they told me about the relationship they had with Ben and how Ben went out there and how he had been in the studio, and then how you guys were helping them with their studio. And I was like, what a community we have. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. I was blown away, you know. And again, another negative, if my internet fine stayed the same, I never would have reached out. I never would have found them, right? Thank God the internet went bum on me. And then I said, God, give me more obstacles. Throw some more crap my way, because every time you throw something my way, something beautiful happens. I was like, so let's have another issue. Let's have another obstacle. Throw it. Let's go. Like, I want to have another problem, you know?
Make your own luck. I love this saying, make your own luck, because it's so true. You could, I'm down, I'm out. Like you just said, like the bear market. I kind of took the same thing, right? We were falling into the bear market, and I was just like, I had a bunch of people be like, because I started my channel in the bear market, and they were like,
you're starting a channel now? Not a good idea, huh? And you're like,
yeah. Wow.
About? Leave me alone. I'm Frankie Candles.
Yeah, like, oh man, bummer that you just started your channel and now we're going into the
I
bear
hate
market.
that. I can't stand that. That's so wacky.
Yeah, I can't get that energy away from me. It's like, we can short, so we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, it's.
Look at me now, baby.
Yeah, right. Whee! Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Make your own luck. You know, and again, like, you know, learning how to short's a perfect. I love that you use that, you know, example where it's like, you know, we're going to a bear market. Boo hoo. There's no attention. No, we're gonna make money on the way down, and we're gonna show people how to do it on the way down. And I you know, it's crazy, you know, to see that. I was honestly shocked that, you know, people, and I think we are still in a different part. We're at a different point with crypto right now. Like you were saying, people are aware of the halving now, right? People understand the 4-year cycle now, so they know. Because in the bull market, there was so much attention on, you know, YouTubers and stuff talking about this stuff, and you know, the late retail got into the market, and they're hearing people like, wait, these people were buying Bitcoin when it was $3,000, and now it's $60K. And then they think of they learn about the bear market, and they're like, oh, well, whenever this bear market thing comes around, I'm going to pay attention. And I think we do have a lot more attention in the bear market. Obviously, nothing like when it was in the bull market. But, you know, I do think people are much more aware at this point. So
we have a resourceful KuCoin is producing like enough gains for me to run a trading group, you know. And I mean, I did join a trading group in 2018, but we only had Binance. It was all BTC pairs. We were just slowly, you know, every single you have to trade was BTC. You didn't have a lot of liquidity in Tether. Tether wasn't all over the place like that. It was a calculator every 5 seconds, 0.01 Bitcoin, then I'm getting in and out. And I mean, even today alone, 75% for Tone, Serve up 43%, Kara up 38, you know, Stepwatch up 40, like multiple double-digit gainers. You're telling today was a beat day? Like the market was ripping on the altcoin market. Like there was a lot of gains to be had. And this has been the case the last few days. Fly is up 300% in the last week, which is Franklin. A bunch of coins. XDB, Digital Bits, up 400% in the last 3 days. Like, I mean, yes, they're low-cap gems, but if you know where to find the gold, man, there's money out here, everyone. There is money out here, you know?
Absolutely. Actually, that you just because you brought up BTC pairs, we do have another question. And this comes from Brian Varney. He says, how do you make Satoshis trading BTC pairs? When alts dump, can you stack Satoshis with pairs?
You can. Well, I mean, when alts dump, can you stack Satoshis with pairs? I mean, you can. A lot of the issue is you don't see a lot of short tokens for BTC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you will see is this. Like, let me show you today. Like, let me just share my screen for a quick second. What you'll see is like you'll flip. This is what I like to do. Bitcoin will dump. The second Bitcoin dumps, go to CoinMarketCap. This is an easy, and I don't like even using the word easy, but this is the easiest way, in my opinion, to try to make a scalp. And I've been finding out it's actually a pretty good way. So Bitcoin takes a beat down. It'll dump that day. Immediately go to CoinMarketCap. And there's other way, far more tips and tricks. I'm giving you a light tip trick here. Go to the 1 hour, flip on it, right? And you'll see like Huobi token, Casper. And today Bitcoin didn't dump as much, but say Bitcoin was a dumpy day, you'll see like 4 coins usually. And whatever those 4 coins are, you're like, what I flip to them, and then sometimes you'll see a flag on the 15, or you'll see that the daily's halfway up, and they actually still have some movement. So then I'll go and I'll trade those BTC pairs. So like I'll find Huobi token, right? I'll go to my BTC pairs here, and this is HT BTC. It should be right here, and you could trade that on Huobi if you'd like, right? And look at that, dude. In the last week, look what Huobi did against Bitcoin, right? And so bang, and then that's how, and then you start stacking. So even when the altcoins dump, look, 76%, one Bitcoin would have made you 1.75. Look, in 1 week, you would have made 76% on one Bitcoin, right? And this is happening behind the backs of the masses. Like people aren't seeing this. And what if you were to turn one Bitcoin into 10, and Bitcoin was then 4 years from now, Bitcoin was going to go to 300 grand, and you're sitting on 3 mil off of an investment you made for 19,000 right now.
Yeah.
And in 5 years, you turn 19,000 into $3 million trading BTC pairs. I'm trying to tell everyone there's so many different ways that I could teach, and Frankie can teach you guys to enhance your life and to gain financial freedom. It's not going to be easy, right? When someone first told me what a Bitcoin pair was, I said, Bitcoin, what? Right? Right? It's foreign. It's far-fetched. But you add layer by layer, you get more comfortable, and you begin to see that there's money out here in this market. I encourage everyone go to sandwich.finance. Sandwich.finance, a great site, Frankie. Look, I'll show you why I like them, and they're not shilling. I'm not shilling. I don't even know who they are. I have no idea like what they do. But what
How dare you like a website?
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, I went black. That's great. But the thing is, yeah. You download the USDT and the BTC markets. This is going to give you every coin on KuCoin and I do this every 2 or 3 days because it's going to change and that way you know the newest coins, you know you're privy, and that way when you hit your list isn't out of date. You know, so if I go to my BTC list here, or I even have ETH markets too. You can do the same with ETH, everyone. You can start stacking your ETH pairs. A lot of people don't trade ETH pairs too. That's like a very unique thing. Like no one's trading ETH pairs. It's like but let's see today what happened. Look, 37% gains. If you could put 1 ETH in here and made 30% on Singularity.ix. So there is money out here in many different ways. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Don't listen to the masses. Go your own way.
It's almost better to not do what everyone else does.
That's why I bought Bitcoin yesterday, because I don't care if it goes to 14,000. I'm not worried about the price of Bitcoin. I'm worried about how many Bitcoins I have. I'm just going to sit here and trade that one Bitcoin over and over again. I don't care. If tomorrow I traded it for 1 to 1.5 and Bitcoin goes down to 14K, I have a half more Bitcoin now. That's what I'm celebrating. I'm not celebrating the $5,000 loss. That's not computing to me. You know?
Yeah.
And the OGs told me that I was winning when I got to that stage, right? When you're a Satoshi chaser and you're not a dollar chaser, that's when you elevated to the next level of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because I love that you said that, because listen, you can stack Satoshis, right? And if you look at the Satoshi chart or the Bitcoin chart, what does that chart do? It goes up and to the right over time, right? If you look at the dollars that everybody's stacking, that is doing the opposite. It is going down and to the right. So it's like, which one do you want to stack? I love that you just said that, because it makes so much sense. If you guys at home have never done this, please Google the buying power of the dollar. Click on Google Images and you will quickly see how quickly and how dramatically the dollar melts. It's unbelievable. And yeah, I love that you said that, because you're much better off, stacking Satoshis. But real quick, Love Learning, I do want to shout you out, says likes for Lifer and Frankie is our way to give them our love and gratitude. What a great bear market show. Our crypto community is blessed. Love Learning said it, not me. Smash that like button if you guys are finding value in this stream. And then we also do have another one from Laura Marshall, says, shout out to Mrs. Candles. Shout out to Mrs. Lifer for keeping these two awesome men in check. Shout out to all the ladies in crypto. Frankie Candles.
It's always in check, right?
It's always Crypto Lifer. Yup. It's
I have this for you, Frankie. Check it out. There it is.
Oh, there it is, baby. This is what I was just talking about, guys. Please look at this. And you've put that against the Bitcoin chart, guys. Put that against the Bitcoin chart. That is what you're holding in your bank account. So yeah, obviously sometimes you got to tether out. You got to hold dollars at some point, but holding those dollars long-term, the fiat currency graveyard.
Yeah, man, they all go down eventually. Every one of them.
We got one foot in the grave.
When will yours go down? It's only a matter of time, you know?
Yep. It's I love that you brought that up because I think it's really important for people to realize because it doesn't, people want to get rich in dollars, but right now stacking Satoshis is, especially right now, as we are so, Bitcoin is so low, stacking Satoshis is going to 100% work in your favor. And as time goes on, even if we get lower lows, it's going to be painful, but just for a little bit. And then eventually once you go in that bull market, it's going to blow your mind.
When Bitcoin was at 69K and the dollar index was down here, it was riskier to be in Bitcoin than the dollar. Now now it's been 18 months to 2 years. You're up here in the dollar. You're down here in Bitcoin. It's now far riskier to be in the dollar than it is to be in Bitcoin. It's riskier to be out of Bitcoin now than it is to be in it. See, when I bought the buy yesterday or 2 days ago for Bitcoin, I was trying to relieve. It's almost like Jesus on the cross. But I was trying to relieve the masses. I was trying to be like, listen, like, this is what you do. Like, this is the call here. Like, but anyone can say it. I can say it 100 times. I can say, I think this is the bottom. These are my indicators. But when I physically buy that Bitcoin in front of everyone and I put my money where my mouth is and I finally commit, it's number one, it's relieving because I'm like, all right, it's over. I've done it. Like, because I was talking about it for a while. At one point I was going to do it and it's done. It's like, and you know what? You know how many people want to buy that Bitcoin right now and are just, people are envious of that press. They're like, man, he just did it. Like, he peeled the Band-Aid off. Like, it's like, cut the arm off. Like, give me the whiskey. Like, we're just going to get it over with, and
put the t-shirt
and now
in
you
your
own a
mouth.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, again, the thing is, I think a lot of people, they get scared at these prices, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, you could tell them. And, I'm not saying this because, I think people are don't want to learn. But for me, especially, sometimes I say this all the time. I'm the kind of person that has to touch the hot stove. If I had, people around me when I was first in crypto that were experienced, they probably would have been telling me the same thing. Like, don't be scared, buy in. But when I first started out, I need to touch that hot stove. I need to make the mistake to learn it myself. I'm a thick-headed Italian, but that's why I like to get on here and try to help people learn from my mistakes. So you guys don't have to make that mistake, but it gets hard to buy at these prices. But if you don't, like you said, rip that Band-Aid off, just buy, and even if you go lower, it will come back up. But the last thing I want to do is not buy in and then wait for those lower lows, and then they just don't come. Like I said, when we were waiting for 100K, everyone was waiting for 100K to sell, and then they wound up selling at like 35K. So, yeah, I absolutely love that. I do have one more shout out to Justin. Says, thanks, Frankie. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. I do have one last question from I don't even want to try to pronounce the name because I know I will butcher it, but I do appreciate that. You will know who you are. I actually, funny story, Lifer, last night on my stream, I got trolled for the first time with a name that when said sounds like something else. And it was the first name was, it was Dixon was the first name.
They get me. Yeah. Oh my God. We have a coin called KOK. Right. Okay. And so I have to call it KOK because it's, if I say it's, yeah. So the other day, someone put it on, I'm like, all right, cock USD. Oh my God. I'm like, damn it. They got me. Like, they got me. Like, I'm like, KOK. I was like, everyone loves the KOK. I'm like, everyone loves the KOK.
That's awesome. Oh God. I love it. It was funny. The one they got me with, I hadn't seen before. I've gotten them before, but they're pretty obvious. This one was, this
like Amanda hug
and
kiss,
slick.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the question is, and this is a good one, but also kind of hard to answer, but how long does it take to learn how to trade? Again, kind of a hard question to answer, but yeah,
all I can give you is examples. Like, it took me to be profitable, like, it took me 2 years. My first year, just, I got lucky. See, this is weird. You can make money and not know how to trade. That's what's kind of, I got into Candy Grow Corp early at like less than $1 on when it was on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and when it got to Nasdaq, it did like a 20x. But like, did I really know how to trade? I was a good investor. I did with my research, and I was convicted in things that I liked. So you can make money and not know how to trade, but to like know how to trade, it took me 2 years. I remember the second year I had 14,000 in my account. I think I made like, 1,000, 1,200 trades. It was like 3 trades a day or more, something crazy, over 900 trades a year. The pages were like this. And I ended up with like $3,875. And I was like, how, but that's when I knew, like, cause I didn't lose anything. And I had traded 1,000 times and I'd won some, I had lost some, I had used stop losses, I had taken some, I went in, and that's when I realized things were like, and then hopefully your discipline coincides with the bull run. And if that happens, you should make so much money that it pays for any loss you've ever been through. And you get a couple of those and you stay disciplined, you should be okay, and then you just make it through the bear runs the best you can. You don't lose money. You find as many, you don't overtrade in a bear market. You don't throw money at every single setup because they're not, less setups are going to hit. You got to know that. You use less money in your setups than normal. You don't go as hard. There's no midterm holds. You're not holding things. Right now, I'm not dollar cost averaging into bags. I'll tell everyone right now, like, this isn't where I start building a bag, all right? The only thing I'm building a bag of that I would even consider are ISO 200 coins because they seem to be on some type of rally. I just put about 10 grand into quant. It could be about, I'm trying to see if I can make me 2 racks. I'm just trying to make a quick trade on it. Quant's been hot. Yeah, we got it at 87. I'm already up on it. So if it hits me this time, we've been trading it since 87. We've been swing trading it. So I find the coins that seem to have a little bit of a movement, slap on some TA with them. Like Trent, SHIB is trending right now. I don't know why, but SHIB is trending right now on Twitter tonight.
Oh, God.
So, there's a chance if you see a wedge on it on the 15-minute, you might get 6 to 7%. You know what I mean? So some things are obvious, So how long does it take? I mean, I got a guy in my group that he joined my trading group. He took my beginner's course, which is $99, or $60 if you join my group. We take off $40 if you join my trading group. And he said he had never seen a chart in his life. He had never done it before. He swore in his life. And he is one of my elite traders. Like, he works for me now. Like, he puts charts out constantly. But he also would get home from his full-time job, take care of his kids, and then be up for an extra 3 hours. He took my beginner's course 6 times. Like, he rewatched it 5 times. Like, he wanted it more than anyone I've ever seen in my life. Like, he wanted it. He saw what I had and was like, man, and he listened to me. He's like, wow, this guy works every day. This guy puts it in. So he's like, if I do those things, he started working out. If I may just read one testimonial that made me cry this morning, just like this guy, like, I mean, people just see how they change their life. But look, this group is changing my life. I started investing in crypto in January 2021. I'm sure you can guess where that got me. I lost a lot of money. I watched BitBoy religiously. And last year I found Sam when he went on ATV. So what a blessing, right? That you guys freaking get me on that show. And for the first time, he did things very different from everyone else that I had come on the show. He was all about the TA, not just market cipher. He's put market cipher away. I didn't even realize, but whatever. And I don't want to hate on market cipher. Whatever you use, you use. Yeah. I just want to make that clear. I happen to use free indicators, but a lot of the things that market cipher does is it just combines those indicators so you can see them fast. It's not that. That's all it's doing. And don't think that you can just buy market cipher and skip to Malou. Frankie knows all the indicators that I'm using. He knows what they're doing. Like, he's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you still have to know your divergences. You can't skip all the way, right? Market cipher is only going to get you so far. You're going to have to put in the actual work behind the technical analysis, right? But he says, I watch a bunch of YouTubers. I saw them day in and day out posting gains. So I joined the trading group thinking I could just treat it like a singles group. I entered trades not having a clue what was going on, right? He said, I started with leverage thinking that's what everybody does, right? Because that's what everyone else does. It can't be that hard. Well, I lost even more money. He goes, 3 months later, I'm obsessed with studying the technical analysis. I'm fine-tuning my strategy. I'm beginning to become a profitable trader, and I'm only 22. I work a software job every day. I'm constantly getting mocked for having the charts in front of me and thinking that Bitcoin has true value. But I don't care what they say. It's not even an argument. I keep charting and focusing on what the lifer and the elites are doing. The past week, I watched all the videos in the learning library. And what he's just saying is, he went after the idea. And what I love about this is I discovered a good relationship with God. Sam has motivated me to live my fullest potential. I couldn't be more grateful. So people not only say I learned to trade, but they say they have a better relationship with God, better relationship with their kids. They say they're working out. They're drinking more water.
Yeah.
I never thought that. I thought people would just say, I made some gains. I really like your trading group. I never thought in my life that I was going to get like, you've changed my life. This guy said he quit smoking weed after 10 years and he feels great. And he loves being around like-minded people. And he realized he was hanging out with a bunch of losers and then he could have replaced the people he was with. And now that he's around so many positive people, it gave him that reason to gravitate towards more positive people. So, by you being positive, I like to be I don't collaborate with tons of people and I want to collaborate with, but I like collaborating with you because of your energy. From the very beginning, I watched your show And I said, man, that guy's always in a pretty good mood. You know, I never seen him wake up like, hey, everyone, you know, I'm getting through the day here. Like, you know, and I appreciated that about you and your smile, man. It's infectious. So I was like, you know, when you first decided to collab, I was like so honored. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Cause that's who I want to hang out with, you know?
I appreciate that, man, and I feel likewise, man. I feel the same way. You know, like I come into your streams, and your community is awesome, and same with you, right? I wanted to collab with you because I was like, man, Lifer gives me such good vibes, man. And you also talk about really important things. You obviously talk about the charts, and you give tons of value there. But like you said, like, you know, drinking water, right? Like these little things that you do. I've had people tell me like, hey, man, I'll be honest with you. Like I watched your stream all the time. Tonight, I didn't even pay attention to the TA. I had a really bad day, but I just like watching you because you put me in a good mood. You're funny, and you made my day better. And then like you said, that testimony you just read, you know, hey, you helped me make money. Like that's a completely different good feeling. But like just being able to help people have a better day is also super, 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 super cool. But with all that being said, I think that's all the questions we have for you, Lifer. Again, I could not appreciate it more for you coming on. People absolutely going nuts in the chat. They absolutely love you. The Mafia loves you. Let's see. Yeah, Dave Digital said, hey, Frank Dixon's here. Watch out. Dixon, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm dying to know if he's somebody I know. But yeah, shout out to Dixon. We love you, bro. Thank you for being here. I'm not going to say your last name. But Lifer, we got one last question. From Dave Digital. He says, question for Lifer. Oh God, I didn't read too far enough into this. Have you seen Frank's calves in person? If you could, could you describe them to us in detail? If no, can you tell us what you dream Frank's calves might look at? I don't know if you've heard this thing with my calves. Everybody, it's like a joke about my calves.
I'm a little jealous now because I feel like I work on my calves a lot, but like you got some nice calves apparently. I mean, and when I close my eyes, okay. Have you ever seen like a nice ham, like a nice muscular ham, you know, and you wrap like a nice, like, you know, like saran wrap on it? Like I picture his calves just like bulging with muscularity. What do you want me to say?
A turkey leg. That's what people call it. They call it the turkey leg.
Can you bring it up? Like you want, like, can we like?
Yeah. Well,
Everyone, I haven't seen him in person yet.
It was blurred out by the mic.
I'm pretty sure he lives in Atlanta and I live in Boston, you know, but we get there.
When I go back to New York to visit, I'll have to come out to Boston.
You're from New York, right? Because I see the thing, and I lived in New York 20 years, and you know, like your thing is like the Ravel Hotel, like that looks like Queens in the East River right there, right where I used to party all the time, you know, like those are nice calves. Okay, all right, I'm getting hot right now.
But real quick. Shout out to MTC with the $7.77 super chat. 777.
I'm upset right now, Frankie. You know why? You gotta have to send me some wrinkle cream or something because I smiled this whole time and you gave me wrinkles probably because I was smiling the whole time.
I know I'm starting to get some crow's feet too. It's like
I gotta get these out.
Yeah, I gotta rub them out.
You gotta get the hyaluronic acid. You gotta get the vitamin C serum and the Rentanol. This is the triple, the tree work or whatever it is.
I love that. I love that.
Tree of life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to go get you know what? I'm not even gonna say that. Chat's gonna take it the wrong way and they're gonna run with it. But shout out to MTC. They say with the $7.77 super chat, these two guys I watch the most and learn from the most. God bless. Shout out to you, Lifer. Again, man, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. The Mafia loves you. Thank you for sharing your charts and giving us your insight on you know, the markets as they are basically just moving sideways. But I'll give you the screen. Let the people know where they can find you. And hopefully we can get you on again here very soon.
Oh, yeah. There's me, Kevin. Love me, Kevin. I was watching him earlier. Crypto Lifer, man. Follow me at Crypto Lifer. I have a website too, cryptolifer.com. We did buy the .com. We ponied up and we made sure to get that acquisition. So follow me. Check me out at cryptolifer.com. Check me out on Twitter. We're blowing up at CryptoLifer33. We're learning how to interact and have fun with everybody. So see us there. We got polls and every day we're doing something fun. Check us out. So yeah, I'm all around and I do a live stream every single day, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. It's been since February of 2021. I have not taken a day 600 some odd crazy days, and I don't plan on it. So, yeah, we're going to keep banging on them every single day. And I appreciate everyone that supports me, everyone that supports Frankie. I jump into the Discord a lot. I get a lot of love in there. If I even say one or two words, you people are really nice. So Frankie's created a positive, beautiful community. I don't see like profanities, not a lot of weird memes. It's like a really solid informational group of people. Like he's done his due diligence creating that good energy. And my group is very similar. We mesh well, the lifers and the mafia. So thank you very much for everyone that came in. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the consistent support. And Frank, I know it's not easy. I mean, they lean on you all the time at BitBoy. I see you running the show, your show. Of course, I know they've been in Dubai. So like you're a point man over there. And I know you do. I know you wear a lot of hats. So I really appreciate you having the time to bring me in. And thank you so much for always looking out for me and checking out on my channel. And I appreciate that. It's like a family. And
of course, yeah, and I never got to get the chance to say this to you. Thank you for hopping in that Discord, because I know the Mafia absolutely loves that. Sometimes I get in there right after you leave, and I see people like, oh, Lifer. I was like, oh, I just missed them. But yeah, I appreciate that.
You gave me this cool big red check, so like when I write in there, you guys gave me, like I've noticed you guys gave me this like official little, like that's really nice, man. I really appreciate stuff like that. I notice everything, so thank you. You know,
yeah,
that was very
of course. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it, Lifer. Hopefully we could set up something very, very soon in the future. I know the Candle Mafia will be waiting for it. But again, thank you so much, and hopefully we can get you on.
I have a feeling sometime by this summer we're going to meet each other. I don't know why. I just have a feeling we're going to somehow, some event, some way, somehow, I'm going to see you. Because I didn't know I was going to be in Vegas the way I was. That was out of nowhere. So you never know where the Lifer's going to end up, man. So
that's right. Well, hopefully that can happen, and we could do a we'll do a little collab stream in I don't know, somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Vegas maybe.
If we have to rent a Lamborghini and just go through the streets, we'll do something fun. We'll make it official.
Absolutely.
I'll make sure it's official when we hang out. Hell yeah.
Amazing.
Have a great night,
thank
man.
You so
thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Lifer. We'll see you next time, brother.
God bless you and yours. Thanks to everyone here.
Of course. Woo, baby. There we go, guys. Crypto Lifer. Hopefully you guys loved that. I could see the chat. I know you did. Drop some really, really good sauce on the markets and life. I think that was one thing that you guys absolutely liked about our last collab, was that we kind of talked a little mix, right? We talked about the charts. We talked about the altcoins. We talked about Bitcoin, all that. But then we also talk about, kind of just the journey of life, right? Because we're all in this world together. But guys, we still do have a few minutes left here, so I do just want to dive right back into the charts here and go over a few things. But before, let me just see what's going on in chat. That was such a great show. Shout out to Chusei Crypto. I appreciate that. Lifer and Frankie, it don't get no better. Shout out to Daddy Zach. Thank you for that, man. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you guys absolutely love that. I appreciate all the support, guys. But yeah, hey, where's Dixon? Is Dixon still in here? What's up, bro? Oh, there he is. Let's see. Yeah, okay. All right. So, Dixon, I like you, Dixon. So we're not going to hide you. I'm not going to hide you, but I'm definitely going to approach your chats with caution. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you watching the channel. Steph says, bing bong, let's go. Y'all were jamming. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, you guys loved that. Yeah, let's go. I love Lifer. Good vibes. Yeah, thank God. Thank God, TA, I can understand. Shout out to you guys. Bob, I saw you, Bobby Crypto Granny, talking about how Crypto Face and Frankie Candles are two Italian Goombas. Let's go. But guys, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts real quick, because we do have some stuff to look at here. Let me just pull up TradingView real quick. And let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Now, shout out to Dave Digital, John Connor. Let's go. What would we do without these two beautiful people? They do so much for our communities. They are true leaders and stand-up gentlemen. Love you guys. Ace PR, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Got 511 people in here, guys. We're going for 600 likes. So if you have not already, go ahead and smash that like button, because we are about to take a look at the charts. If that wasn't enough sauce for you from Lifer, which it should have been, because that was a whole lot of sauce. But if it was not, let's just go ahead and add a little bit more on top. But taking a look at Bitcoin here, guys. We're on the 5-minute. I'm just kidding. We're going to come up to these higher daily time frames. Now, we are, I am seeing things very, very similar to as Lifer, right? So he was looking at the stochastic RSI, kind of looking like it was a little bit overheated and might not have too much further up to go. And as you can see here, we do have our VWAP above that zero line, but it's pretty extended over here. it does look like we could probably roll over here pretty soon. Money flow actually looking not too bad. But again, guys, the main thing I want to point out on today's stream is you want to be very careful because tomorrow's news is going to give us a move in, most likely going to give us a pretty volatile move. So with the charts, the higher daily time frames, I mean, not much has changed here, guys. The big news of the day is going to be this. I brought this up on the morning show yesterday. Guys, we have another 4-day yellow X printing here on the 4-day time frame. A 4-day yellow X on the 4-day time frame. Who knew? But we have 3 days and 1 hour to confirm this. And this is a pretty bearish sign, guys. This is not a good sign. Now, the only reason, actually, before I touch on that, I just want to talk about these VWAP flops, guys. This kind of how Lifer was mentioning that he was saying that the bulls don't really have much power, kind of showing that these pumps are coming up and just making a lower high and coming back down, showing that the bulls don't have much power. And it kind of reminded me of what we've been looking at with these VWAP flops. We have these bullish setups on the higher time frames. We have momentum coming up. We have price coming down, typically giving us big moves to the upside. But these VWAPs are just flopping to the downside. They're coming up, printing those green dots, and then flipping right back down to the downside, showing that the bulls don't have much gusto, right? And then obviously we got the VWAP flop on the 6-day, VWAP flop on the 5-day, and then that 4-day was doing the VWAP flop, and it finally crossed over into the red, which was what we were hoping was not going to happen. But it did, unfortunately. And then to add insult to injury, not only are we getting that VWAP flop to hit us with a red dot, but it's accompanied by a yellow X, which is a very, very bearish sign. Now, if we come down here on the 4-day to the 2018 bear market, it is worth noting that we did get a yellow X here on the 4-day in 2018. And it wound up giving us a 50% capitulation, right? This was about a 50% capitulation, right? And that gave us a big move down, and then the next yellow X we printed was actually after the bottom was already in, right? So I think that's important to realize. This yellow X printed, how much of a dump did it give us? Well, look at that, 43%. And then we printed this one. It brought us down a tiny bit, and now we're printing this one. Will it play out in a big way? We'll have to wait and see. However, you want to understand that once you get that third, that fourth, that fifth yellow X, it could indicate seller exhaustion, right? So I would be much more concerned if this was the first yellow X. I'd be expecting a very large move down to the downside. You want to remember, definitely a very bearish sign. But however, we are at very, very important support, right? And you can see this second yellow X that printed on the weekly. Granted, it could still potentially play out. But this one, these yellow X's on the weekly, or this second one, didn't really play out too horrifically, right? I mean, nowhere near that weekly blood diamond. So these yellow X's could potentially be letting us know that we're close to the bottom. But I am very, very cautious around them because typically they do give us massive dumps to the downside. When they're popping up on high time frames like the weekly or the 4-day like we have right here. So that's a little bit more on the bearish side, but these higher time frames, I put it in the Discord last night. I put it in the Discord last night, and the higher time frames are just looking worse and worse every time I look at them. I think since even last week, we've been looking at these VWAP flops occurring, having these flops occur on the VWAP, right? We're getting it coming up above that zero line and flopping right back over, just boop, flop, right? And we were talking about how it could start printing red dots. I didn't know it was going to be accompanied by a yellow X, but then, we were hoping for the VWAPs to stand back up. And every time I check these higher time frames, I wake up and I look at them and they're just looking worse and worse, continuing to flop. And it seems that every day I wake up, one of them is crossing over, giving us a red dot, as that 3-day is also giving us that red dot, and that 2-day has that confirmed red dot. But I will say this, guys, money flow on the 2-day is getting real close to that zero line, as you can see, right? So money flow doesn't look too bad on the 2-day. However, you want to remember we're in a bear market, right? So likely that we could get a little fake out into the green. But that money flow does not look too bad. But here's the thing, guys. Even though we're getting that... oh, God. Well, even though we are getting those VWAP flops, I think we might get some sketchy price action, right? So we might get that VWAP flop to the downside, but we also might get a flip back up to the upside. I think we might get some trickery happening in the price action in the coming weeks. However, just looking, regardless of the VWAP, because you guys know I talk about the VWAP being the ebbs and the flows of the market, right? A little bit of up, a little bit of down, not necessarily indicating a massive move. But with that being said, I will say this, even though we're starting to print these red dots on the 3-day, the 4-day, the yellow X I'd be concerned about, but just with the red dots, right? Number one, these aren't confirmed. And number two, even if we do confirm this red dot, if we rip back up and get a VWAP flip right back to the upside, these timeframes will still continue to be looking bullish, right? Although, we want to be careful because of those red dots, but if we don't live down there with those red dots, and those red dots don't give us a big move down to the, if they don't give us a big move to the downside, we could, maybe we get another immediate green dot right after, like we had right here, right? This was actually very common on the 2-day. It was happening a lot as well recently. But actually, I'll come to the, what was that, the 3-day. There we go, right? So the VWAP comes down, straight back up. Red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, right? As money flow is coming up. So maybe we see something like that happen. Not impossible to get a VWAP flip to the upside where you're only below that zero line for a short period of time. So with that being said, as long as this yellow X doesn't wreck us to the downside, I do think that the higher time frames could still potentially maintain bullish structure. So with that being said, let me come down to the lower time frames and kind of give you guys the levels that I'm watching for tomorrow, as we are expecting a lot of volatility. And I do just want to make sure you guys, the Candle Mafia has the correct levels to be watching, right? So over here, we are on the 15-minute, and guys, again, like Lifer was saying, I mean, look, this is it. We're in just a range. We've been going sideways. Nothing really that exciting has been happening. But with that being said, you guys know we were watching this level, this gold box between about 18,900 and 18,825. This was the level we were looking to essentially, since we were losing this POC, we were expecting to come down to this level where we were eventually going to be looking for longs, right? Now, I did actually miss my long entry here. I was on Coffee and Crypto, unfortunately, or not on, I was fortunately on Coffee and Crypto, but unfortunately missed my trade entry. So I'm not FOMOing into a long right now, but I am still in my short. I've taken profit many times. So just got a little bit left in that short. We are still up in healthy profits, but hoping to potentially get another. Now, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I am going to be, if we do happen to come back down to this level, I will be looking for long opportunities at these lows because this is very key support, right? So basically, the way I'm going into tomorrow, guys, the levels are remaining the same. If you guys are in the Discord, the charts I've been posting, you can look at those charts to get the levels I'm watching. They remain the same. They're all the levels that are on my chart right now. Really, nothing has changed there. But let's see. Yeah. Shout out to Dixon. But yeah, so with that being said, guys, kind of the way I'm approaching this is if we get a dump down to these levels and we are seeing bullish confirmations on the lower time frames, I will look to let's say we do come back down here, right? Say we take that ride. There's two things I'm doing at this level, right? I'm taking more profit on my short, and I'm looking for bullish confirmations to get into a potential long position, right? And then that way, I will be a little bit hedged. Hopefully, I can get that done, and if I don't get into the long position, it's no big deal. But if I could get into a long, that would be ideal for me because then I could be long and short tomorrow, and then not impossible to get wicked out on both sides. But, then if we continue to rip to the upside, my stop loss for my short that I entered up here, as we were bearishly retesting this level, still in that short all the way from up there. And my stop loss will be deep down here in profit. So if price does come down here, I'll take some more profits out, move my stop loss down. And if price rips to the upside, say the CPI numbers come out much better than the expected, and we get a rip to the upside, it will stop me out of my short in profit, and I can continue to ride this long up for more profit, right? So we're short, guys. It's simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple, right? This is how we trade, right? We have key levels. We wait for price to approach the key level, right? We approached a key level here, right? We saw bearish divergences. We shorted it down. We got out of the trade. We came back up to key resistance. We saw some bearish signals, bearish confirmations. We shorted it down. And then I don't remember exactly what got us into this trade. I'm not going to dig for it. But we got into another trade here. We wrote it down. And then it's all about, actually, I think we might have gotten into that trade off this bearish divergence. But you short key resistance and you long key support. So we came down to key support here. You could have got a nice little ride. You could see we tapped the top of this gold box almost perfectly. Could have rode that up for about a 1.7% move with a little bit of leverage that could give you some good profits. But if we do come back down to key support, again, I did not take that trade. I'm very open. I'm not going to pretend I took this trade, right? I am in that short. We looked at it yesterday. Actually, let me see if I still have it up. I might still have it up. Let's see. Yeah, so we are still in this trade. Whoops. We are still in that trade. Okay, scroll down. There we go. Still in that trade. Got some realized profits. Still up about 18% on KuCoin. Love KuCoin's leverage trading little dashboard here. But we are still in that trade. But if we come back to this key support, this is where I'm looking to potentially find some longs, even if we're dumping, right? You're just looking for the bullish confirmations, right? If we get down here and things are looking horrific, and we're not getting any bullish confirmations, then I'm just going to sit on my hands and hold my short, right? And then I'm going to cash out on the way down. So that's a good way to hedge yourself in either direction, right? Because I think today's title was something about like how to be prepared for the volatility. And this is kind of how I'm approaching it. I'm going to hold my short, right? If we come back down and we test these levels with bullish confirmations, I will take profit on my shorts, leave some in, and then enter a long position. And then if we come up, I'll get stopped out of the short in profit. And if we dump, I will still be in my short and keep cashing in on that. Now, again, just so you guys have an idea, if for some reason we get some apocalyptic news tomorrow with the CPI data, that spider line at about 18,667 or in that around that level, right about here. If we lose that level, I will be expecting to potentially come down to the 17.6 level to revisit our previous low that we made for the bear market at 17.6. And if we don't, guys, if we do come down there where we got a nice bounce, this is a significant bottom right here. If this was not the bottom, it's still a significant bottom, right? So maybe this was our relief rally and now we're just coming down for another leg. But if we do come down to that level, if price breaks and we start working our way down to the 786, I will be looking for a potential double bottom. Maybe this is the cycle. Oh yeah, remember the 2022 bear market? We had the double bottom. And then we'll be going back in time on streams in 2025 looking at the double bottom being like, oh, I remember when this happened, right? But if we do not get this strong bounce off that 786, I am going to start looking at lower prices for Bitcoin. And those lower targets are getting way closer to about 12 to 14K. So that is basically what I'm looking at. Another thing I do want to show you guys here is if we pull up the BLX, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the BLX, but if we come over here, I do just want to pull some volume. Let's go ahead and let's pull some volume all the way from the lows of March, all the way to our current price action. And where's our POC, guys? It's at about 10K. Now, I know a lot of people are calling for 10K, but the reason I wanted to show this, let me come over to the, let's come up to a higher time frame because I just want to show you guys, right? Let's go to the weekly, right? And looking at this, we could see the volume, right? And we are sitting right on this high volume node. Guys, get your notepads, get your spaghetti get your macaroni with your red sauce, and I'm gonna call it red sauce for you guys. I call it marinade. You know what I'm saying? But grab your spaghetti, your uncooked spaghetti, dip it in that sauce, and take notes here, guys. Because if you pull the volume from the lows of 2020 to your current price action, you get this volume profile. And something to note here, right? I want you guys. I'm going to draw horizontal support on these volume gaps, right? On these volume gaps. So I drew a line at the top of this gap and the bottom of this gap, right? And then I'm going to go from the top of this gap to the bottom of this gap, right? And this one does have some levels in between. But if you look at this, guys, these are very important, right? Because this is basically telling us that if we lose this level, right? This level right here, we are stuck on this high volume node. It is like holding on by a thread. We're just on that little node, that tiny little node. Look at that thing. We are hanging on for dear life. You can't even see the price line because it's so close. That little purple line right above the red one. We are sitting right here. If we break this node, if we break this high volume node, it is likely going to be a very quick fall. And this is where that 12 to 14K number can come in, right? Because where's our next little bit of volume? We have a little spike right here. What is this little spike? What price? 15.5, right? But it's not very strong. This is essentially a giant volume gap, but you do have that little spike right there, right? And that's 15.5. So if we lose this level, it's probably going to be a pretty aggressive dump down to about, 15.8, I would say, right? Maybe 16K is probably going to give you a little bit of psychological support. But again, not too much volume there. There's not much. There's basically just air and that little, it would basically be like a step made out of styrofoam, right? And if we break that, where's your next little bump in volume? Again, you have a puny little spike in volume right here. What is that? That's at about 14K. The top of that node is about 14K, right? And then if you lose that, you're going to fall down to right here, which is your next significant area of volume. And that comes in at about, between 12 and 10K, right? But the top of it being 12. So with those horizontal levels, if we come over here and just look at price action, right? We didn't draw this as a level of support. We just drew this at the bottom of this high volume node. We are sitting, resting right on that gate, guys. If we get bad news tomorrow, we could fall right through here, right? And it could be very aggressive. And I will put a level. I will put a level at these other levels, right? About 16K, 1650. You have another level there, but it's not strong. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down the opacity of that line, right? Making it look a little weaker. We have that strong red line, but if we lose that, we're going to come down to this weak red line, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and put another level here at about 13.6. We can even put it at about 14K even. And we're going to keep that pretty weak too, right? Because that next decent spike in volume really doesn't come in until 12K. And then if we actually happen to head down to that POC, it's coming in at about $9,500. And I know there's a lot of people out there calling for 10K. I'm not saying it's happening, but we do have a point of control down there from a pretty significant range of price action. So with that being said, guys, I kind of wanted to give you the insight into how you can use these volume profiles on a higher time frame over a longer period of time. And I also do just want to point out that if we were able to see this while we were in this, right, this would look different because this is, all of this is being analyzed, analyzing all of these candles, right? But you can kind of see after the fact, right? You come up to the value area high, you get rejected. Value area high, we come up, right? Not a lot of volume coming in. The volume's tapering off, indicating that we were not going to stay up there for very long. And then we came right back into the value area, which is expected if you come out of it and you don't bring in new volume. So then we came back into the value area, right? And now we're expecting to come towards that POC. And right now we are on our way to that POC. Now, I'm actually curious. I haven't done this. I want to see from here to the POC. That's your 85% correction, guys. That's your 85, 86% correction, all the way down to that high volume node. Now, doesn't it kind of seem weird? I'm not saying that we're 100% going to this price, right? I've never even really brought up $9,500. But with this point of control here, even if price did go to about 10K, Bitcoin is still just doing basically what it's done before. So I just wanted to point that out just to give you guys some of these key levels and the reason why it could be a very quick dump through this low volume gap. Again, you have these two levels of support in here, but they're not very strong. They're just little ticks of volume. For the most part, there's really nothing but air down here. And I just wanted to show you because we are literally, you could just see that we are sitting right on that price, right? And we are looking down into a black hole. So I hope that gave you guys some context into the markets, and I encourage you guys to play around with these volume profile tools on the higher time frames to find these more macro levels, right? Where's the volume in the macro? And again, $9,500, this POC technically has to be an area of interest, right? I'm not saying we definitely have to go there, but I'm just saying if we did go there, it wouldn't be that shocking. It would make a lot of sense to come down and find support on that POC. But for me, my actual next range is going to be about between about 14 and 12K, which gets you pretty close to that POC, but not all the way. Maybe you come down here and then you get a panic wick to the POC before getting support. But I did just want to bring that up really quick. I feel like that was pretty long-winded. But smash that like button if you guys found any value in that. We're going for 600 likes tonight. We're actually probably going to wrap up here because we are running out of time. But I appreciate everybody who stuck around till the end of the stream. If you have not already, go ahead and smash that like button because we're going to be spinning that wheel of pain and pleasure in just a few minutes. If we get 550 likes, I will spin it 10 times. Let's go. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Shout out to Dixon. He says, but what if market makers push it up because everyone and their mother is going to be ready to short? How far up could it go, and where are the liquidation pockets? Dixon, that's actually a pretty good question. So let me just bring that up real quick before we spin the wheel, guys. Because if we do get a move to the upside, let me actually just bring up the BLX. Here we go. This is let's take a look here, because that's a good question. What if we do get a big move to the upside? Because everybody is very bearish right now. Everybody, hey, shout out to DJ Haas MS. I appreciate you. I love your face back, man. Shout out to Mike Roberts. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. But let me remove the drawings here, because I like that Dixon asked that question. So let's see. Where could we come, right? Where could we come if we get a move to the upside? And I'll be honest with you, that main level I'm going to be watching is going to be about 30K in the most bullish case for now, right? If we come higher, if we get to 30K, we'll reassess the situation when we get there. Are we getting to 30K and everything still looks bullish and it looks like we can go higher? There's zero way to know that until we get there. But what I can tell you is, let's go ahead and pull that volume, that same volume profile from the March 2020 lows all the way to our current price action, right? So let's say things go, the opposite way. Let me share my screen. Let's say things go the opposite way. So here we are back on the weekly chart. I pulled the same volume profile. You guys are getting the late night sauce here with the late crew. Let's go. So obviously we are sitting on this high volume node. The next major node, like Lifer was just saying, thank you, Rob. I appreciate you, brother. But as Lifer was saying, right, with the volume profiles, right, this is why we love volume profiles on this channel. If you guys watch the channel at all, you'll know I am absolutely obsessed with volume profiles. It's one of the most powerful tools you can use, and it is by far, hands down, the number one thing that I wish I knew when I started trading. It would have cut so much time off of me learning how to trade profitably, right? So as we are sitting here at this high volume node, what would be the next likely stop, right? So the next likely stop would be this little spike in volume, which is ranging between about 25K and between about 23 and 25K. So that would likely be the net. If we get a big move up, we would want to get back up to these range highs at about 25K. 23K probably going to act as resistance, but if we can get above there, 25K is likely. Now, once we get to that 25K level, I'm going to go ahead and change this line. We're working overtime tonight, guys. Here we go. Right. So this is that level at about, 25K. We'll call it even. I'm not going to get the level perfect on stream. I don't want to waste time. Right. So we're sitting right here. But the thing to realize here is this is where we got rejected when we had that last pump up. We got rejected right off this level. You want to note that it is right at this start of this big high volume node. Right. So if we could get up and break through this level, it is likely that we're going to break into that low volume gap, that next low volume gap. What would you be doing if you broke out of this red line? You would want to target where the next spike in volume is, right? So you have a big gap right here. So likely that we will shoot right through that gap and come right up to these levels where that next area of volume starts, which is at about 28K. Now, we do have an untapped point of control at about 30K even, so potential wick up to about 30K, maybe go up, sweep those highs, and then that is where, let me just mark out 30K for you guys right about here. Let's see, bada boom, about 30K even. There is a very key level. So maybe we come up, right? We bang our head a little bit, but then we finally break out, come up to the 28K level, possibly wick up, sweep these highs, and then actually get a bigger rejection down. And then whether that's where we come down and double bottom, maybe we come down. Maybe that's where we come down and double bottom on that 786, right? We come all the way up, roll back over, double bottom here, and then start a new bull run. Or it wouldn't be a straight shot like that. It would likely look more something like this. And then, maybe slowly work our way up and then a parabolic bull run, closer to 2024, 2025. Or we could potentially come up to these levels and get a bigger dump to come down to eventually, maybe not that low. That might be a bigger problem. But maybe that's where we come down and potentially come back and visit these lower lows at about 12 to 14K. So with that being said, shout out to Dixon for bringing that up, because I think that's important to look at both sides, because shout out to Crypto Anon. It's spooky season. Let's go. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. Again, tomorrow, be prepared. I think this is going to be the thing. The CPI data is going to be the thing that's either going to let us know that we are going to see more pain, or we're finally going to get some decent relief in this bear market. And I think we're going to get a lot of things cleared up tomorrow. So just be careful. I showed you guys kind of my plan, the levels I'm watching, and how I am looking to hedge my bets. That makes sense. Thank you, Frankie. Shout out to Dixon. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, happy to look at that for you, man, because it is important, right? Because nobody knows, guys. No one has a crystal ball. We can list the bearish case, list the bullish case, list our evidence, and then lean a certain way. Again, I would, and right now it's harder than ever, because you guys will know I have been leaning a little bit bullish with the way the higher time frames are looking, but then we started getting the VWAP flops to happen, and I was like, well, it's okay. And then we started getting the red dots printing on the 3 and the 4 day, and I was like, okay, it's actually looking pretty bad. And then we had the yellow X, and then the 5 and the 6 day are starting to roll over. So I want to say the higher time frames are still looking a little bullish, which is kind of making me lean towards the upside. But with those VWAP flops and those yellow X's, it has never, ever, the market maker has never, ever tried to confuse us more than right now. But we're at key support, guys. And those higher time frames hopefully can hold, so we can get a move up. But again, if not, I'm going to hold my shorts and cake out on the way down. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and pull this wheel up, guys. We are running out of time. 550 likes, guys. We're spinning the wheel 15 times. Let's get it. Let's see. Pull up that wheel of pain and pleasure. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. Ryan Mack says, oh, I hope he sees that. He says, Ryan Mack, Frankie Candles, how are you feeling with APE and the SEC lawsuit? Is APE still something you would continue to accumulate, or would you dump that? Sorry, just a quick question. Shout out to Ryan Mack. I appreciate you, bro. You're an OG. I got to answer that thing. You want to take it with you want to take it into consideration, right? I will say this: I don't have too much APE at this point, as I'm not really accumulating that that much alts. I'm not accumulating that many alts right now. I'm accumulating mostly Bitcoin at this point, because I do think if we see a rally, now this is not a guarantee. I do think it will probably be Bitcoin led. So I'm not accumulating very, very heavily on alts. So as of right now, I'm willing to risk it on my APE. I really don't have that much for me, right? But if it is 100% going to affect how much now maybe I'm not going in as heavy, right? So yeah, definitely taking it into consideration. Again, I actually haven't had time to really look into it. I would like to look into it more and, actually understand what's going on. It's been hectic covering Ben's show, covering ATB, doing all the pre-records, my live streams. It's just been a little bit hectic, but I would like to look into it. Actually, I learned a lot of that. I found out about that stuff through chat because it was the only time I was able to hear it. Frankie's Crystal Ball, available in the App Store, guys. It's the Frankie Candles Discord. If you want to get access to my Crystal Ball, sign up for the free Discord in the description down below. But let's go ahead and spin this dang wheel, guys. Let's go. And this remember, guys, this stream is not brought to you by Lowe's or Target or Peloton. It's brought to you by KuCoin, the best exchange in my opinion. Or I should say my favorite exchange. And don't forget, guys, 0 fees on Bitcoin and ETH trades for the next 7 days. It does end on the 19th, so don't forget. And guys, I do have to say, I see you guys in chat. You guys want me to look at a coin, the King altcoin, you guys are calling it. But I have to say, guys, I'm kind of hot in here. I'm kind of hot, guys. I'm kind of hot. Oh, baby. It is spicy in here. Hang on one sec. Oh my God, I am sweating in here. But what altcoin did you guys want to see? Let me know in the chat. I think it started with an E. I don't know. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see if anybody caught that. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I love you, brother. I love you. Let's go, baby. Bing bong. Let's go. Yeah, I'm just thinking of taking half and converting it to stables. Yeah, man, Ryan, I 100% am I am 100% taking that into consideration. Again, I do want to do some more research. I don't know what the claims are and all that. Looks like you guys caught that. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Billy, guys. I'm gonna spin this wheel, and then let's just cut back here real quick. Woo! Show ETH, baby. Let's go. I love the font. Absolutely amazing. I love it. 3 shirts in one, guys. We got the CandleMafia t-shirt. Now we got the Show ETH. Let's go. I think I'm going to wear this every single day. The shirts are amazing. Billy, you have no idea how much I appreciate that, man. Super, super cool. The design is amazing. And yeah, shout out to Frankie. Jonathan Schaefer, let's go. Guys, shout out to hey, Crypto Billy, wear the otter shirts. Shout out to Tony Soprano. Let's go. All right, here we go. What do we got? I don't even know what the likes are at right now. Let's see. 493, guys. We just don't hit the likes like we used to. I don't know what happened. But we'll get them back up there. I mean, it's boring price action. But we gave you an extra one. And hey, look at that, an absolute ace on the wheel tonight, guys. 5 giveaways. So shout out to you guys. Let's see. Let's see. The shirt is amazing. Let's go. Frankie, can I be the hot model that spins the wheel? Dixon, shout out to you, man. Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Yeah, you could be the hot model that spins the wheel, of course. But you have to wear a Show ETH t-shirt, but you got to like pull it up and pull it through so it's like a belly shirt, you know what I'm saying? That's just a requirement. But guys, with all that being said, sorry, guys, we went way long here. Obviously, we had Lifer on today, so we weren't able to do the altcoins. I look great in a mint skirt. Let's go. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I do appreciate everybody for sticking around to the end of the stream. Smash that like button on the way out, guys. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I appreciate you more than you could possibly imagine. I got to go do this Big Boy Crypto video. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. 5:45 Eastern Standard Time here at the Frankie Candle Studio. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Let's go. Bing bong.
Tyler Ramos.
Oh, God, they probably think I'm crazy. I had 2 shirts on. If only they knew I had 3 shirts on. God. Oh, my God, I'm live. Bing bong.